I invite you to join me in a posture of prayer or presence. Eternal source of life, as we gather on this momentous day, we pause in gratitude for the journey that has brought us to this place, a journey of curiosity, perseverance, and transformation. We rejoice with the class of 2026 who have animated this campus and the wider community and world with their questions and contributions. We are grateful for the families and friends who have loved them into being and yet becoming, for the professors and mentors who have guided them with wisdom and care, and for everyone who has labored to make this community possible. As these graduates step into a world in need of courage, compassion, and conviction, instill in them a deep sense of purpose to seek truth, to serve humanity, and to lead with integrity. May their lives bear witness to the humane instincts and disciplined and creative minds nurtured here at Davidson, that they may pursue lives of leadership and service. With grateful hearts and hopeful spirits, we offer this prayer. Amen.
Please be seated. A reading from Psalm 139. O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up. You discern my thoughts from far away. You search out my path and my lying down, and are acquainted with all my ways. Even before a word is on my tongue, O Lord, you know it completely. You hem me in, behind and before, and lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is so high that I cannot attain it. Where can I go from your spirit? Or where can I flee from your presence? If I ascend to heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in Sheol, you are there. If I take the wings of the morning and settle at the farthest limits of the sea, even there your hand shall lead me, and your right hand shall hold me fast. If I say, surely the darkness shall cover me, and night wraps itself around me, even the darkness is not dark to you. The night is as bright as the day, for darkness is as of light to you. For it was you who formed me in my inward parts. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works, that I know very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was being made in secret, intricately woven in the depths of the earth. Your eyes beheld my unformed substance. In your books were written all the days that were formed for me, when none of them as yet existed. How weighty to me are your thoughts, O God! How vast is the sum of them! I try to count them. They are more than the sand. I come to the end. I am still with you. Word of the Lord.
Good morning. Members of the class of 2026. Let's say that again. Class of 2026. In August 2022, you arrived on campus in SUVs, minivans, airport shuttle buses, Ubers, and Lyfts. Now, nearly 4 years later, you will depart campus by similar modes of transportation, but you will add a Davidson College diploma to your pile of earthly possessions. Congratulations. Please take your many memories with you, but please also return your library books, works of art, and any borrowed Davidson Outdoors gear to the relevant office. Like you, my family and I joined this community in August of 2022. I have proudly worn my class of 2026 pin, and I felt a very special attachment to this class, to each of you. Over these 4 years, we've celebrated Stephen Curry and handed him the same diploma that you are receiving today. We've welcomed Grammy-winning musicians and United States senators. We've witnessed a solar eclipse, skirted the worst of a hurricane, and endured a blizzard. Okay, let's be honest. It was 8 inches of fluffy snow. We opened Game Changers Fieldhouse and Davidson College Stadium, and along with 2 A10 Conference golf championships during your time at Davidson, a highlight event was the crowd that packed the stadium 2 Sundays ago to watch the Davidson lacrosse team win the college's first ever A10 championship in a women's sport. Go Cats! Together, we marked a major commitment to education and reconciliation with the dedication of With These Hands, a memorial to the enslaved and exploited. I can see it through the archway of the old Davidson well right over there. We founded and funded the D.G. and Harriet Wall Martin Institute for Public Good. Next year's commencement will happen around the construction site to renovate Phi and U and Elm Row, and we will continue our work to promote the public good. We live in a moment of tremendous turmoil in politics, global affairs, and the economy. Human conflicts and natural disasters have not spared people very close to this Davidson community. We've navigated public distrust in and political pressure on higher education by adhering to our values and our educational purpose. You as students have led our efforts to recommit to honor and integrity on campus, to serve our local communities, and to press for a more just world. 4 unforgettable years to get here. None of us arrived at this moment, this commencement, without a cloud of witnesses, without a team of people who have protected and nurtured us from our first days as vulnerable newborns. Graduates, each of you has your own team, and every team looks different. Parents, family members, host families, guardians, loved ones, mentors, ministers, counselors, and for some, a personal trainer. All of you have benefited from a world-class faculty and amazing staff members at this college. Graduates, let's take a moment now to reflect on the extraordinary team of people who got you to Davidson and who educated you while you were here. Whether they are present today or far away, let's please give them a rousing show of gratitude now. We also recall this morning, with thankfulness for their lives, 2 faculty members who died during these past 4 years, Professor Chip Davis and Professor Russell Crandall. They were gifted teachers and mentors who loved this college, and they loved you, class of 2026. We remember them now. I also want to recognize those colleagues who have dedicated at least 20 years of service to Davidson and who are retiring this year. Colleagues, please rise if you are able, or wave when I call your name. Please hold your applause until all of this incredible list are recognized. Staff members, Renee Baker, Dick Cook, Susan Cook, Danny Ellenberg, Lori Gaston, Amanda Jones, Mike McKay, Ronnie Shirley, David Allen Starnes, Richard Terry, Vanessa Wishon, and faculty members who become faculty emeriti, Jonathan Berkey, Randy Ingram, Doug Otati, and Luis Pena. Thank you all for your decades of service to this college. One of Davidson's proud traditions encompasses something that we don't do. Since 1962, when a speaker spoke for over an hour at this commencement, we have not hosted an outside commencement speaker who would bring words and sage advice from beyond the college. Yesterday, we did hear an inspiring baccalaureate address from alumnus, the Reverend Dr. Chris Burton. For our present ceremony, I, as president, am charged with the responsibility to deliver a brief address, which is helpfully labeled in your bulletin as acknowledgments and remarks, just to keep me succinct. Now, that decision more than 60 years ago has kept the focus of what we are doing here on the class of 2026, on our graduates. Now, I couldn't help but notice a recent headline, however, in a student publication, the Davidson Lux. Maybe some of you saw it. It expressed this view: we need real commencement speakers. The student author wants graduates to hear from a fresh voice. After all, he writes, the president has been speaking to us all for 4 years at Davidson. They have welcomed us at orientation, spoken at several major campus events, and written to us in many campus-wide emails. In case the reader has missed his point, this student states, many students often feel that they have heard enough from the president by the time commencement arises. Fair enough. I get it. Heard. But I've got a couple other things I want to say. In asserting that we need real commencement speakers, what is the opposite of real? In mathematics, I learned here, the opposite of a real number is an imaginary number. In the current world of political polarization, the opposite of real could be fake, as in fake news. Or in this moment of a technological tidal wave, the opposite of real would be artificial, imaginary, fake, artificial. So I want to assure you this morning that this faculty, this well-dressed faculty in medieval robes created for the climate of Northern Europe, this is not an imaginary faculty. And I am really, I see you. I am really standing up here with the real leaders of the college and the actual Honorable Anthony Fox. And most important, you all have earned, through persistence and hard work, real diplomas. And on my honor, neither Claude nor Gemini assisted me in the completion of this work. These are my words. So how did we arrive at this dichotomy between a campus cocoon and the real world beyond? How did we become the opposite of the real world? What you have experienced here with the people who surround you today and many others, this is the real world. The quality of friendships, the guidance and mentoring from college faculty, staff, coaches, friends, the late-night exploration of life's big questions and the silly ones. These are all very real. Real, too, is the preparation you have made for lives of leadership and service in your reading and writing and group projects, in your singing, creating and performing, in your winning and losing, in your helping friends and strangers in their moment of need. You have built up knowledge and capacities that will serve you for a lifetime. In your quest for what is real, embrace the imaginary. Embrace your imagination. Scholars from Adam Smith to Martha Nussbaum to Cornel West help us understand how the moral and literary imagination and the ability to create and improvise, they're what help us to live our authentic lives and have empathy for those around us. We need our imagination to build a better reality. You will be confronted with fake news. Davidson's commitment to trust, honor, and the quest for truth will guide you to discern credible sources of information and wisdom. And artificial intelligence, it is such a powerful tool that you must understand and can harness to do much good in the world. Machines and technology can massively assist in making us more human, and yet they also have the power to dehumanize individuals and our very society as a whole. In this burgeoning world of AI, you not only face the question of what is real, you must deeply consider the question, what makes us genuinely, authentically human? To answer, you take with you Davidson's fundamental commitment to the dignity and worth of every human person. So, standing here in the place of a real commencement speaker, I proudly salute you for what you have accomplished here and so far beyond campus. I also leave you with this charge: never forget the humanity of this place and these genuine relationships. Use the humanity you practiced here to build a world that is authentic as the years you spent on this campus. That way, you don't just accept the real world, you become agents in creating it. Congratulations, class of 2026.
Good morning. Today I have the pleasure of announcing the winners of the Algernon Sidney Sullivan Award. This award aims to recognize college students and members of the community of noble character by putting service to others before self-interest. This award is selected by the Honorary Degrees Committee and affirmed by the faculty. 2 awards are presented each year, one to a community member and one to a graduating senior. The 2026 community recipient of the Algernon Sidney Sullivan Award is an individual who's dedicated his life to delivering hope and opportunity across borders. While many know him as a distinguished emeritus professor at Davidson College, we gather today to celebrate a devotion to others that has only deepened since his retirement in 2020. Rather than choosing a path of well-earned rest, he's utilized his retirement years to serve, quietly and without fanfare, the community broadly defined. For nearly a quarter of a century, our recipient has been a constant presence for those facing food insecurity. He served as a regular volunteer at the Nourish Up Food Pantry at First Presbyterian Church in Charlotte. His commitment to local service also bridges his professional expertise with community engagement. Within his own faith community, he served as the clerk of the session and chaired the Global Outreach Committee, translating his personal values into institutional leadership. His heart for service extends far beyond the borders of Mecklenburg County. In 2003, he founded the nonprofit Friends of Asacion to support the work of Asacion of Mexico Association in the Yucatan Peninsula. As the longtime president and current treasurer, he travels to Mexico numerous times each year to supervise work that offers life-changing education to young men and women from culturally rich but economically disadvantaged Mayan communities. His organization provides free room and board at 3 local homes to youth from rural villages, making it possible for them to attend middle and high school. For those pursuing advanced degrees, he ensures they can attend university in the Yucatan capital city. Friends of Asacion also hosts teams that partner with local people to build and rebuild homes and churches and provides critical emergency relief when the region is battered by natural disasters. For his decades-long commitment to the well-being of others, for his global vision of community, and for exemplifying the servant leadership that defines the spirit of this award, Davidson College is proud to bestow the 2026 Algernon Sidney Sullivan Community Award upon Dr. Richard Neidinger. Richard could not be here with us today, but congratulations. The 2026 Algernon Sidney Sullivan Student Award goes to a student who has consistently placed service to others before self-interest and whose work reflects both intellectual excellence and a deep moral commitment to the public good. She is recognized by her professors as an extraordinary individual who seeks to use her education to strengthen communities and improve institutions. Throughout her time at Davidson, our recipient has been a driving force for local literacy, playing a key role in establishing and supporting tutoring programs at Davidson Elementary School and the Davidson Cornelius Child Development Center. She understands that literacy and opportunity are linked. She approaches this work with patience and humility and a willingness to show up week after week. Informed by her faith tradition, she approaches every opportunity as a chance to improve the lives of others. Beyond Davidson, she studied education and collective memory in Northern Ireland and examined questions of nationalism and reconciliation in Serbia. She pursued international education that reflected not only intellectual ambition, but also a genuine commitment to understand how institutions can promote peace rather than reinforce separation. As a researcher for the College Crisis Initiative, she's contributed to national conversations on higher education governance, always viewing scholarship as a vital form of service. Whether she's collaborating with policymakers in Washington or mentoring children in Davidson, she's known as a leader who creates community by listening first and ensuring that collective work reflects shared purpose rather than individual ambition. In the words of one of her mentors, she is curious, courageous, relentlessly committed to justice, brilliant, and deeply kind. She demonstrates these values across all contexts in which she operates, bringing the same seriousness of purpose to Davidson Elementary as she does to international work. At the recommendation of the Honorary Degrees Committee and with the approval of the faculty, Davidson College is proud to bestow the 2026 Algernon Sidney Student Award to Nina Worley.
Come on back up, Nina. And now the Hunter Hamilton Love of Teaching Awards. This year there are 2 faculty recipients. Our first honoree is described by one nominator as, quote, simply the best teacher I have ever had. Their love of their field shines through in their unique and engaging teaching style. Multiple nominators initially joined this professor's introductory classes to complete a distribution requirement, but were unexpectedly hooked and declared a major in the subject. One described this professor's enthusiasm in showing students the different ways we could interact with the field, allowing us to find aspects that resonated with our individual interests. Another appreciated that the teaching style focused on self-discovery, saying many topics I researched have grown into passions instead of a one-time assignment. Former students recall exceptional, patient mentoring, connecting on both intellectual and personal levels. This professor, quote, goes above and beyond to ensure that each student feels valued and supported, dedicating extra time to provide individualized guidance. Another mentee affirms that, quote, conversations in office hours helped me realize that my goals were attainable. This professor's belief in me helped instill confidence in myself. In leading study abroad trips, this professor's demeanor was, quote, one of almost preternatural unflappability, keeping calm and collected in the context of teaching and leading students day in and day out through overwhelming cities and out-of-the-way villages, even in the days without the ease of now ubiquitous Wi-Fi and smartphone maps. Class discussions in far-flung hotel lobbies and historical sites, as well as at Davidson, quote, opened my eyes to a new way of thinking, said one nominator. This professor demonstrated that we, as undergraduate students, could understand, debate, and ourselves add to the conversation of the latest scholarship in the field, adding according to another, his curriculum laid bare the personalities, biases, and presuppositions of experts. He asked us to be critical thinkers in ways that my other teachers had not. He showed us that events over 2,000 years ago in a dead language have active, modern lives. This professor's dedicated writing instruction benefits students from first year to capstone level. One Riley states, quote, his comments on my first mediocre paper were constructive and hopeful, but certainly not complimentary. His instruction led to improvement in all my other writing courses. Said another, before I took his class, I never would have believed that I could write a 17-page essay on the Macedonian tactics at the Battle of Gaugamela. Nevertheless, with his encouragement, I wrote that solid paper on that specific and difficult topic. for inspiring many generations of Davidson students to love the quest for knowledge about the ancient world, the 2026 Hunter Hamilton Love of Teaching Award goes to Professor Peter Krentz. Our second honoree has a way of seeing in students what they have not yet learned to see in themselves. Nominators describe arriving in this professor's seminars feeling that they didn't quite belong there, like we weren't smart enough, and leaving with the conviction that their ideas matter. As one alum writes, this professor is a mirror of one's best self, in whose presence the perception of one's own potential expands. That gift begins with the way this honoree treats undergraduates as genuine scholarly collaborators. One nominator describes being invited into the professor's research in progress. I wasn't just raising my hand to answer questions in the classroom. This professor made me feel like I could truly contribute and participate in scholarship. Another describes them as simultaneously our toughest, most nuanced critic and our most enthusiastic cheerleader. And the cheerleading does not clock out. Nominators fondly recall receiving advice over lunches by the windows of Vail Commons, and years later still receiving it over lunches across the country. They remember walking into office hours after a rejected thesis proposal and walking out with a stack of books and a renewed sense of purpose. They tell stories of phoning her from a noisy Amtrak car mid-research trip and finding her, as always, ready with the guidance they needed. This professor also has a remarkable knack for meeting students exactly where they are. One nominator, whose disability makes scanning for meter in poetry extremely challenging, recalls explaining the issue to her when the topic arose in class. Rather than offer an accommodation and move on, she, quote, suggested that we meet to explore ways I might determine meter, work that, this student writes, enabled me to enjoy the nuances of poetic language rather than remain daunted by it. The reading runs dense. Foucault, Derrida, experimental modernist poets, and the little magazines that publish them, and yet her students cannot get enough. I frequently say I could listen to her lecture for hours, writes one student. An alum long after graduation reports that books from this professor's courses still sit on her shelves and that her own love of the poet Mina Loy remains undimmed. Through Scrollytellers, a digital storytelling format she has adapted for the classroom, this honoree has launched a generation of Davidson students into the digital humanities. For decades of patient, devoted instruction, for treating undergraduates as scholars and inviting them into modernist literature and the digital humanities as participants, not spectators, and for a generosity that has reached across coasts and careers, we celebrate you with the 2026 Hunter Hamilton Love of Teaching Award, the Dr. Suzanne Churchill. Over the years, Davidson has awarded honorary degrees for uncommon excellence, particularly to those whose lives and accomplishments enhance the human condition or address contemporary societal needs.
President Hicks, I have the honor of presenting for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, Carol Weinstein. Carol, will you please come forward?
Today, we honor a teacher, a visionary leader, and a steadfast champion for the transformative power of education. Carol Weinstein, former English professor and co-founder and vice chair of Weinstein Properties, demonstrates a life of leadership and service informed by humane instincts and a disciplined and creative mind. Cherished words at Davidson. Davidson College is deeply fortunate for the friendship born on a tennis court between Carol's husband Marcus and late President Emeritus Samuel Spencer. This friendship grew to include Carol and Ava Spencer and an abiding affection for Davidson College, which blossomed into a legacy of exceptional leadership and generosity. As Davidson's first Jewish trustee, Carol served with courage, grace, and clarity, consistently reminding us that the college's statement of purpose calls us to extend the loyalty of the college to the whole of humanity. She underscored that the language we use and the voices we include define the strength of our community. Her leadership was marked by her commitment to ensuring that every student has a sense of belonging and the resources to thrive. Carol and her family tangibly shaped the landscape of our campus and expanded the horizons of our students through their philanthropy. Their investments in Davidson, ranging from physical spaces like the Spencer Weinstein Center for Community and Justice to annual awards like the Spencer Weinstein Prize for Community and Justice, were intended to support students in bridging differences and working for justice through dialogue and scholarly inquiry. The Weinstein Global Programs has made the world into a classroom where discovery and long-lasting friendships are forged through travel. Beyond the bounds of campus, Carol's impact resonates throughout Richmond, the Commonwealth of Virginia, and across the globe. From service to the Library of Virginia, to the University of Richmond, to support for the Virginia Holocaust Museum and Ben-Gurion University, Carol has lived out the central principles of her faith: tzedakah, making the world a more just place, and tikkun olam, repairing the world. Because you have used your voice to build bridges and ensure that every person has a seat at the table, because you and your husband Marcus have recognized that a liberal arts education is excellent preparation for the next generation of leaders, because you have invested abundantly in the potential of young people, providing resources necessary to nurture a more empathetic and connected world. Now, therefore, on this 17th day of May in the year 2026, Davidson College, with the approval of the faculty and the concurrence of the Board of Trustees, honors you, Carol Weinstein, and names you Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. Congratulations.
Each year at commencement, the seniors with the highest cumulative grade point averages receive first honors. This year we have 11 students receiving first honors. Will those students please walk to the top of the ramp now and stand in alphabetical order? As I call the names of this year's recipients, would you please come forward to receive your award? Benjamin David Atherton. Sophia Blanco Cimbala. I'll get you in a second. Elise Cecilia Desjarlais. Florian Benedict Moser. Celine Estelle Perard. Lily Catherine Radke. John Vale Reddy. Madeline Grace Richard. Georgios Tarasidis. Savannah Rob Vonish. Charlotte James Weiss.
Good morning. Welcome again to all the family, friends, and loved ones here today. My name is Nina Worley, and I'm incredibly grateful to have served as the senior class president this year. Today, as we prepare to walk across the stage and become alumni, it's time to reflect on what experiences meant the most to us and decide how we want to carry them forward. Every year, Davidson seniors participate in the senior class gift, a tradition that allows us to give back to the community that gave so much to us. Each of us have benefited from the generosity of alums, families, and friends that make up the Davidson community. The Fund for Davidson touches many facets of our experiences, such as scholarships, diversity and inclusion initiatives, student health and well-being, research grants, arts, athletics, and much more. I'm thrilled to share that we surpassed our goal with more than 72% of our class contributing to the Fund for Davidson through the senior class gift. We chose to give back to the specific areas that defined our time here, the top three being the Unrestricted Fund, internships and fellowships, scholarships, and the Davidson Trust. This amazing participation, which is the highest we've had in 5 years, honors the support we've received and marks our entry into one of the most generous alumni communities in the nation. I want to give a shout out to our wonderful senior class gift chairs, Emily Patterson and Connor Hines and Jackie Bardin, and the rest of the committee who worked tirelessly to plan fun events throughout senior year and educate our class on the Fund for Davidson. Together, we're helping future Wildcats by sustaining what makes Davidson so special. And I couldn't be prouder to be part of this community and to forever remain connected to as an alumni. Congratulations, class of 2026.
Running on the water, running
Will those students who have completed the requirements for the degree of Bachelor of Science please stand as you are able? We also recognize today those members of the class of 2026 who will graduate in August with a degree of Bachelor of Science, and I invite them to stand as well. President Hicks, I have the honor to present these students who, having fulfilled the requirements set by the faculty for the degree of Bachelor of Science, are now to receive their diplomas, as well as those students who are anticipating receiving their diplomas in August.
By the authority of the state of North Carolina, with the approval of the faculty, and with the consent of the trustees, I now confer upon those students who have completed the requirements the degree of Bachelor of Science with all the rights and privileges appertaining thereunto. Congratulations.
Jamarian Nashawn Adams. Catherine Sterling Addison.
Congratulations.
Akshan Agarwal.
Congratulations. Yep.
Nana Afia Kulwa Ajamang Badu.
Congratulations.
Salin Denise Akdon. High honors in mathematics.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Isabella Grace Angelkovich.
Congratulations.
Vanessa Rebecca Anguiano.
Congratulations.
Aaron Michael Shames Argo.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Tate Marie Arrington.
Congratulations.
Dagmawi Asris.
Congratulations.
Leslie Tedosia Tahualpa, honors in biology.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Haidar Karem Atash. Benjamin David Atherton, first honor. Tavishi Bedwan, honors in biology. Srijit Banerjee. Jacqueline Anita Barden. Blake Min Barron. Zachary Asher Blumenfeld, honors in environmental studies. Tara Elizabeth Baumler, honors in economics.
Congratulations.
Jenna Elizabeth Buhussein.
Congratulations.
Shayna Talia Broadman.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Dallas Andre Brown. Kendall Elizabeth Brown in absentia. Francesco Salvador Brusco, Jr. Shadi Basila, honors in mathematics. Victoria Louisa Birch.
Congratulations.
Samantha Carol Burns.
Congratulations. There you go.
Israel Cabeza Diaz.
Congratulations.
Daniel Jackson Carter.
Way to go. Thank you. Congratulations.
George Andrew Casey, honors in chemistry.
Congratulations.
Sylvia Elena Ceballos.
Way to go.
Jing Yen Shi in absentia. Riley Kate Christopher.
Congratulations.
Alexander Nelson Chudzik.
Congrats.
Lauren Mason Klein.
Congratulations.
Sarah Elizabeth Cobb. Braden Alexander Cole. Max Benjamin Cole.
There you go.
Edward Emerson Cox.
Congratulations.
Molly Elizabeth Culligan. John Garnett Cunnigan. Tien Ye Dai, a high honors in computer science.
Way to go. Great. Congratulations.
Finn Patrick Daly.
Congrats.
Avani Damadi.
Awesome. Thank you. Congrats.
Natalia Elizabeth Dascombe, honors in environmental studies. Esther Kelly Dowgs.
Congratulations.
Estella Jacqueline Davis.
Way to go.
Morgan Taylor Davis.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Parker Stephen Davis.
Way to go.
Chetna Hitendra Dowda.
Congrats.
Avia Dave Da Silva.
Congratulations.
Elise Cecilia Desjarlais, first honor.
Congrats. First honor. That's pretty awesome.
Aiden Rose Devlin.
Congratulations.
Elora Tapales Devlapalli.
Way to go, Laura. Thank you. Got some proud parents out there.
Rohan Day.
Congratulations.
Devin Joseph Diaco.
Congratulations.
James Joseph Diorio.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank you.
Ella Marlowe Dittmer, honors in environmental studies.
Way to go. Congrats.
Rihanna Rochelle Doctor.
Congratulations.
Hugh Thomas Duffy.
Congratulations.
Kendall Tyler Durkin.
Congratulations.
Colette Polly Dwyer.
There you go. Congratulations.
Kaya Elizabeth Aguti Earl.
Congratulations.
Ronald Gabriel Edmonston.
Congrats.
Ashara Adrian Edwards. Scott McMillan Edwards Jr.
Congratulations.
Dylan Mark Felt.
Way to go. Congrats on everything.
Maya Luna Ferreira.
Congratulations.
Alec Wayne Finch. Daniel Emmett Fish III.
Congratulations.
Michelle Flores.
Way to go.
Adalia Nisi Fragoso. Alexa Jean Frayne.
Congratulations.
Jillian Nicole Fries.
Congratulations.
Anthony Gallardo. Charlie Jacob Garfield.
Congratulations.
Martina Ehab Gergis.
Way to go. Congratulations.
Benjamin John Greer. Rita Marie Grimmig.
Congratulations.
Edward Giuseppe Hall.
Congratulations.
James Taft Harrell, Honors in Environmental Studies. Piper Carson Harrell.
Thank you.
Ryan Stephen Harris. Georgina Elizabeth Haspel. Bianca Hassan, Honors in Physics. Yasamin Diamond Hatem. Jordan Christina Hauser. Elizabeth Lee Heald. Ann Gibson Heiser, High Honors in Art History. Alyssa Grace Henke. Abram Daniel Hernandez Mujica. Carter Beasy Herstein. Bethany Rayshana Holmes. Mary Elizabeth Holmes, High Honors in Environmental Studies. Olivia Caden Hooper. William Ross Hope. Frank Brisbane Howden. Ava Nicole Howell. Jordan Madeline Hudson Miraz. Margaret McLaurin Hull. Henry Evans Hultquist. Jordan Elizabeth Hummel. Victor Obase Jacobs in absentia. Naomi Aaliyah Janis. Charles Perry Jenkins. Tan Zhongjin. Evelyn Gray Johnson. Laken Walker Jorgensen. Sydney Lauren Kelgren. Isabella Sophia Kelm. Micah Farrell Kent. Elliot Noah Kim in absentia. Jean Myun Kim. Jessica Elizabeth King. Nicholas Jack Knaup. Mark Patrick Koch. Amelia Jane Koff, Honors in Physics. Myri Francis Cromer. Penelope Painter Kuhn. Dmitro Kordidik. Brooke Ashley Lackey. Francisco Lancaster. Sophie Grace Evans Landers. Thomas Lee Lane. Brian Larios. Summer Elizabeth Lasky. Autumn Annette Lee. Greer Davis Bentley Levy. Torrin Clark Linton, Honors in Environmental Studies. Amelia Joan Little. Drohan Zutero Lord. Lillian Ferdos Lovell.
天人罗 in absentia. Dakota Rose Lyons. Joshua David McDermott. Lindsay Margaret Mangum. Armate Abraham Marcos. Devin Anna Martinez. Gabriela Idasu Mata. Anna Foster Matthew. Joshua Theodore Matushak. Tamara Rosemary McBatchy. Jackson Thomas McDonald. Isabella Antonio McCasey Staley, Honors in Studio Art. Hannah Jane Merritt. Gabriel Evan Mervis. Ava Gray Mako. Caroline Carter Mailer. Jordan Alice Miller, Honors in Psychology. Stacy Mora Muruka, Honors in Genomics. Anushri Mode. Joanna Jasmine Monson Gonzalez. Alora Ann Morgan. Musa Moro. Mohammed Abdel Nasser Mustafa. Rory Vincent Malis, High Honors in Biology. Catherine Elvia Munoz Gomez. Jackson Steele Neighbors. Chris and Maria Nelson. Victoria Lynn Newsom. Duke Kai Win. Jerry Thomas No. Ella Joy Nolan. Edward Peter Notberg III. Nadia Nowicki. Jacqueline Yakun, Honors in Physics. Mary Denise O'Brien. Alice Dean Oldham. Lars Eric Oler. James Alistair Offer. Robert Todd Oliver. Shalom Oluwafi Kayomi Oblugode. Adolphus Bush Othwine IV, Honors in Mathematics. Sarah Jean Pack. Joshua Colin Paris. Luke William Passarelli. Victoria M. Pete. Christopher Pietney Shook, High Honors in Chemistry. Celine Estelle Perard, First Honors in Absentia. Eileen Placicia Marcus. William Graham Ponder, Honors in Environmental Studies. Savannah Love Pruitt. Lily Catherine Radke, Honors in Psychology, First Honor. Navis Guy Rauscher. John Vale Reddy, First Honor. August Melton Robuson. Nathaniel Youngjin Reid. Vincent Thomas Reynolds, Honors in Mathematics. Charlie Rafaela Ryan. Pierce Eric Rindle. Parsa Brenton Rismani. Jimmy Lynn Rodriguez. Ella Grace Romeo. Milo Patrick Rothenberg. Henry Chase Russell. Christian St. James Thomas Rutherford. Ryan Sabuni. Jaleel David Sales. Melanie Ayani Sanchez. Courtney Grace Sanders, Honors in Studio Art. Elizabeth Hill Sadek. Richard William Schackenbrock. Jack Andrew Swanawade, High Honors in Cognitive Science. Jack Harold Seal. Ella Rowards Sharp, Honors in Psychology. Patrick Olden Sheets. Zhan Sheng, High Honors in Mathematics and High Honors in Economics. Mason James Sharon. Isabella Marie Schollenberg Dunham. Ryan Matthew Shute. Jackson Henry Zickstill. Daniela Sierra Hernandez. Hudson Gray Sizemore. Emma Grace Slusser. Emily Catherine Smith. Victoria Liv Sokoloff, honors in English. Ta Han Sun. Annika Christine Spivey. Alice Jackson Sriram. Derek Hodder Stevens. Daphne Lynn Stift, honors in biology. Austin Henley Summerlin. Urdius Taradidis, first honor. Mariana Tardil Gutierrez. Sydney Malone Tade. Samantha Danielle Tave, honors in psychology. Sinai Abraha Tashome. Emma Margaret Thomas. Trenton Jabari Thompson. Margaret Jean Thrall. Charles Woodson Toole. Hen Min Chen in absentia. Nivu Hong Chen, honors in psychology. Allison Brianna Truhill. Eileen Giselle Valencia Beltran. Andrew Dean Vargo, high honors in chemistry. Akansha Vallet, honors in psychology. Maya Grace Vermeer. Savannah Rob Vonish, first honor. Madeline May Wagler. Jarrett James Walker. Irene Nicole Walsh. Domina Yagama Wamara. Sarah Teresa Wells. Jordan Glenn Shildai Whitehouse. Elizabeth Suzanne Wilcox, honors in biology. Henry Clark Wilcox, honors in education studies. Anna Colleen Withy. Stephanie Angeline Wolchak. Benjamin Dylan Wolf. Margaret Lauren Woodward, honors in biology. Jia Yi Wu, high honors in communication studies. Rui Ling Wu. Eleanor Griffith Wu-Shea. Yunfei Xu. Yu Xin Xu, high honors in chemistry. Jia Heying, honors in psychology. David Ji-Yong Yoder. Tristan Yungjin Yu. Kara Ziying Zhuang.
Will those students who have completed the requirements for the degree of Bachelor of Arts please stand as you are able? We also recognize today those members of the class of 2026 who will graduate in August with a degree of Bachelor of Arts, and I invite them to stand as well. President Hicks, I have the honor to present these students who, having fulfilled the requirements set by the faculty for the degree of Bachelor of Arts, are now to receive their diplomas, as well as those students who anticipate receiving their diplomas in August.
By the authority of the state of North Carolina, with the approval of the faculty and the consent of the trustees, I now confer upon those students who have completed the requirements the degree Bachelor of Arts with all the rights and privileges appertaining thereunto. Congratulations.
Hunter Richard Adam. Uday Ahuja, honors in sociology. Katarina Anderson, in absentia. Ian Adams Anderson. John Welsh Anderson, IV. Lucy Elizabeth Ellis Anderson. Phoebe Elizabeth Anderson. Nevea Isabel Angarita. Jossam Irfan Ansari. William Andrew Bakhtayan. Zainab Badrous. Sun Ho Beck. Laura Lillian Baggett. Adriana Montserrat Baena. William Andrew Banks. Virginia Kent Barber, honors in political science. Brennan Ward Bejant. Irakli Begliashvili. Sasha B. Behrens, honors in art history. Quinn Rector Benson, in absentia. Kyle Frank Richard Berlage, honors in economics. Mary Malloy Blackstock, high honors in political science and honors in German studies. Ava Taylor Blash. Leah Ray Blyfus, honors in disability studies. Jackson Ward Bodie. Sabrina Grace Bonavita. David Fraser Boone. Ava Madison Branch. Abigail Amala Brissette. John Elliott Brown. Isabella Christian Bryan. John Oliver Burden Jr. in absentia. Violet Anne Marie Calkin, honors in English. Jacqueline Mary Callahan. Sebastian Gonzalo Carpio Moran. Hannah Grace Casey. Sarah Claire Catalano. Grace Andres Catan, honors in theater. Bryson Edward Champy. Xiong Yi Chen. Maya Francesca Cesari. Sophia Blanco Simbala, honors in English, first honor. Alonso Malik Clark, in absentia. Lorraine Ashley Clausen. Sarah Elizabeth Clegg. Coulter Cass Cleland II. Sarah Grace Clifton. Vasiliki Sophia Constantine. Liam MacArthur Coughlin. Tanner Wallace Creelman. William Douglas Cronin, in absentia. Thomas Bailey Crow, honors in political science and honors in history. Gabriela Nicole Cubias Aguilar. Charles Halsey Culver. Caroline Morgan Cummins. Andrew Roger Delanis. Gavin Montgomery Daniel, honors in economics and honors in music. Kelsa Christine Dater. Zachary Ward Davis. Blaze Rader De Leon. Aiden Walker Diggs. Hai Ku Duong. Ford Francis Disbrow. William Hampton Dooley. Catherine Mary Drozd. Sophia Grace Dubard. Joseph Henry Dubélé. Alana Christine Dumalak. Charlize Emily Dunn. Ella Grace Dunn, honors in art history. Divin Lionel Dushi Mimana. Franklin Lowell Edonga in absentia, honors in philosophy. Elia Rose Ian, honors in English. John LaPlante Endress. Cole Thomas Erickson, honors in English. Henry Rhodes Erickson. Caroline Josephine Ewing, honors in art history. Tyler Ryan Foth. Nora Isabel Fenn Gilman, honors in sociology. Andia Farijai. Julia Ann Fitzgerald. William Connell Fowler. Samuel Malachi Franklin, honors in English. Grace Catherine Gallagher. Matthew Preston Gallup. Gabriel Garcia. Lucas William George. Yara Nicole Gonzalez Fernandez. Catherine Joanna Gooden, honors in English. James Allen Gourlay Jr. Langston Lee Green. Philip Benjamin Greenwood, honors in history. Ethan Daniel Greer. Luisa Guzman. Benjamin Avery Hale. Youngju Han. Hideki Diego Harada Oyakawa in absentia, high honors in political science. Brianna Noelani Harmon. Wells Dugard Harned. Allie Nicole Harnett. Elisha Adam Haynes. Emily Maria Hazim, honors in English. Shi He, Anne Syrie Healy, Mary Claire Hendrick, honors in studio art. Josue Alejandro Hernandez Garcia, Samantha Herrera, Kyler Martin Herring, Connor William Hines, Penelope Call Hobby, Lucas Alexander Hoffman, honors in philosophy, politics, and economics. Trey Embry Holland, Hannah Michiko Holmes, Sophia Isabel Holmes, Ivan Kenneth Hoyt V, James Rock Hua, Emma Siona Huff, high honors in communication studies. Joseph Halgjord Hurlbert, Ishaya Shireen Hossein, honors in philosophy. Ni Trong Huang, Idil Ira, high honors in anthropology. Ahan Jane, Logan Jane, John Walter Ransom James Jr., Ryan Thomas Javahari, Colby Ryan Johnson, honors in classical languages and literature. Brooke Kimura Joyce,
Hunter Brianna Ju, honors in environmental studies. Thomas Feeney Cade, Ahmed Barris Kalajolo, Mallory Catherine Louise Kavanaugh, Siobhan Grace Kelly, honors in art history. Jacob Zephan Kim, honors in music. Minyoung Kim, honors in global literary theory. Jaleel Aaron King, Savannah Grace Collick, Valeria Kushkova, honors in economics. Charlotte Ann Leben, Kate Sidney Ng Lafayette, Marin Rachel Lowy, Grace Allison Lee. Tanner Cassidy Ellen Lee. Adrian Christina Leone. Mary Wells Letson. Avery Justin Levine. Ian Lynn. Tess Elizabeth Lofton. Sean Christoph Logan. Charles Per Lorenzen. Dylan McKenna Lowe. McKenna. I'm sorry, Dylan. Thomas Kent Luther. Stella Ann Mackler. Jane Rosemary Maddock, honors in Hispanic Studies. Catherine Rocky Marshall, honors in Religious Studies. Rachel Ann Massa. Matthew Brock Matheny. Luca Manzanti. Margaret Susan McCabe. Amira Damian McCormick. Liam George McDonough. Heidi Kathleen McGannon. Elizabeth Rose McGee. Taylor Jean McGibbon. Madison Charles Mendelson. Price Balford Miller. Ariana Molina. Nicholas Thomas Mooney, honors in philosophy. Zoe Camille Mosley. Florian Benedict Moser, first honor. Francine Alexandra Munoz Gonzalez. Abigail Gibson Murphy. Sibilche Liani Nakaboran. High honors in communication studies. Leah Adib Nader. Eli Thomas Naughton. Dominic Chigozi Njoku. Parker Duncan Nunn. Declan Flynn O'Donohue. Adele Sylvia Oprika, honors in studio art. Madeline Joyce O'Toole. Luke Bennett Paley. Hayden Kevin Parriott. Jack Solomon Paschal. Utika Hiran Patel. Benjamin Patton Pat. Emily Ann Patterson, honors in English. Tanner Ray Peak. Wilson McKinnon Perkins. Ezra Gray Perrine. Amia Joy Petch. Honors in Sociology. Andre Jacob Phillips. Honors in English. Catherine Noel Phipps. Natalie Lucinda Pineda. High Honors in Public Health. Naman Podar. John McNabb Potter. Olivia Grace Quinn. Rosa Isabel Ramirez, High Honors in German Studies. Tyler Carlos Aguilera Ramsey, Honors in Studio Art. Brooke Ansley Rasco. Brody Benjamin Reyna. Aiden Primo Rice. Madeline Grace Richard, Honors in English, First Honor. Harris Peter Robinson. Kalyana Jaden Robles, Honors in Sociology. Isabel Romero Avila. James Frederick Rose. Charles George Roth. Jacqueline Margaret Sabig. Petronila Abuko Sakwa, Honors in French and Francophone Studies. Kasha Widad Salia. Michael Dominic San Antonio, Honors in English. Leah Jordan Sandock. Jose David Sandoval Marulanda, Honors in Economics. Samuel Charles Shamrock, Honors in Economics. Liliana Celia Schoen. Dominic Lee Schrader. Jordan Allison Scott. Dante Paul Solari, in absentia. Annabelle Brooke Siemens. Anne Frances Sheridan, Honors in Economics. Mary Elizabeth Shoup, High Honors in Political Science. Julia Petrie Lessa de Sequeira. Wesley August Smale. Landon Rayshon Smart. Alexander West Smith. Ava Flynn Smith, Honors in History. Fletcher Gabriel Smith. Henry Crowley Smith. Micaiah Ariana Joy Smith, Honors in English. Charlotte McGuire Sneed. Jackson Martin Srinivasan. Lacey Christine Stevens. Jackson Carlisle Strelo. Molly Deegan Sullivan. Josiah Henrich Sidnor. Anne Catherine Tapscott, Honors in Educational Studies. Andrew James Tashi, Jr. Diana Kate Teagarden. Sofia Timotievich. Kenny Pierre Torres Rosado. Anthony Joseph Tereso. Harry Edward Tolukian. Jaden Schuyler Truey, Honors in English. Lise Andrade Varela, High Honors in Educational Studies. Stephen Todd Walker, Jr., Honors in Political Science. Charlotte James Weiss, Honors in History, First Honor. Ella Grace West. Brooke Sarah Wheeler. Auden Emery White. Allison Sandra Williams. Ryan Thomas Wilson, in absentia. Caroline May Wilutis. Nina Shahaf Worley, Honors in Educational Studies. Liu E. Yang, Honors in Studio Art. Gavin Craig Yon. Balin Alexandra Young. Ana Maria Teodora Zabu. Honors in Sociology. Emo Ju, Honors in Philosophy.
Congratulations to the class of 2026. Today we celebrate your joining the company of those known to have enjoyed in unusual measure the privilege of scholarly training and liberal learning. We ask that you, when you receive your degree, you treat it as a sacred trust, the emblem of your obligation to serve. Hold it with honor to yourself, in loyalty to your alma mater, and in fidelity to God, to your country, and to humankind. Please stand as the choral singers lead us in the alma mater.
of 2026, go now into the world carrying all that this Davidson community has given you. The questions that sharpened you, the friendships that sustained you, the moments of grace that transformed you. May you walk with courage into the unknown, and may you find again and again that you are not on your own. May your successes be a gift to others and your struggles a doorway into ever deeper compassion. May you be quick to listen, slow to judge, and always willing to begin anew. And as you journey forth, may you hold fast to the truth that you are beloved, that your life is precious, and that the world is waiting, eager and hopeful for the gifts that you will offer. Go in peace, in purpose, and in hope.
Class of 2026, congratulations.